I think you can watch the Kohistan episode and feel like miss your wife.
Your
like,
show doesn't put people to sleep. Mine does.
Buddy.
I'm listening to my show.
Buddy,
your show is scary.
You don't understand my listeners. They listen to us to go to sleep. Aishwarya listens to
This
crime
is not
podcasts to
you're
sleep.
talking nonsense, Aryaan.
Aishwarya listens to crime podcasts to sleep.
If I'm interested in your show, then I will not sleep for a long time after that.
People sleep to us, bro.
How will they sleep?
I don't know,
There's a guy
Cyrus.
from Sami Radio walking around the streets of Mumbai. Somebody else from 200 years ago. I'm scared now.
But they managed to sleep. Aishwarya listens to crime junkies to sleep. That's her bedtime.
Unless Aishwarya is Suresh Radio.
Suresh is Suresh Radio.
I mean,
She is a walking
can you
dog.
change gender? Of course you
Of
can,
course you
right?
can.
Well, why can't you?
I thought I was a woman. My friend. The vision I always
So did
had.
I when you entered. Aryana. Ab the sense mein aa gaya na. Aryana makes sense. All right, here with Aryaan Misra.
Yes, sir.
I presume nephew of the great writer Pankaj Mishra. Or Sanjay Mishra, the actor.
The actor, yeah.
You're serious?
No.
Oh, damn you.
Yeah.
Could you just play along?
Yeah, I mean, I was.
I had a
okay.
Mrs. Mishra teaching me
But
biology.
it's not Mishra, it's Misra.
It's Misra, correct.
Yeah.
That's the right
And it's
pronunciation.
Aryaan.
Why is it
Yeah,
Aryaan?
2 A's, man.
ये क्यों?
Numerology, I think.
तो
So
नाम
it's ARYAAN.
pronunciation क्यों बदल गया उसमें?
ARYAAN.
हाँ, but that's just the way they're writing it. But the name, I got a firing from Kiran Kher. Because like an idiot, I called her Kiran. Because she put the O instead of the A. She says, why are you calling me Kiran? It's Kiran. But the spelling, so I'm just asking
No,
you.
no, okay. So the actual word, where does Iran get its name from?
Okay.
From Aryaan.
From Kiran.
Yeah, from
Take out the
Kiran.
K,
From Kiran.
like the French.
But Iran comes from Aryaan. So the sort of the ethno-linguistic group was Aryaan.
That's
for
the
longest
Aryan.
time.
You're going to start a race war now.
No, Aryaan. It was a linguistic, it was never a racial group though. Anyway, point being.
So you're saying the pronunciation in Farsi is Aryan?
Yeah, it was Aryaan.
Okay. It's going to teach us Farsi now. Mr. Misra. Okay, fair. So the other, I know so many Aryans and they all call themselves Aryan without the double A.
Yeah, they call themselves Aryaan.
So do we correct them in future? Like Shah Rukh's son, for example, is Aryan, famously.
Yeah.
Do I go up and
So
say...
I don't want to be confused with them, hence 2 A's.
Is that it? Or do I tell him, so you made a mistake, it's Aryan?
No, just 2 different names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, how is it 2 different names? It's the same name.
No, Aryan and Aryaan.
This is the show we're doing.
Yeah.
So I apologize. Okay, Aryaan ji. So point hai ki you have started a fabulous new podcast, which is, I think, I can't think of anyone else in India doing this at the moment. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
A pure crime podcast.
I have, yes.
Okay, this is very interesting. First, there's a partner, Aishwarya Singh, who's not here. We'll get to why she's not here.
Yeah.
Is that a crime? And then let's start at the beginning. Where did this brainchild come from?
This brainchild emerged from our dorm rooms 4 years ago. So
Where?
we were sort of the old guard in some ways, young people, but old guard in the podcasting space. We started 4 years ago out of our dorm room in Michigan. We went to
This
study.
Aryaan is American. सर अपना नहीं है, अपना साइड का नहीं है यार. दिखता हमारे जैसा पर नहीं है. Misra, Aryaan. He's a very Brahmanical attitude to life, man. Looking down at me.
I mean, I got it.
Yeah,
But,
fair enough.
fair.
Yeah.
No, we did our undergrad in Michigan. Born, brought up in India only. And Aishwarya and I were childhood friends. We ended up going to the same college together as well in the States. And, she is a crime fanatic, like an aficionado, and devours crime podcasts that were only available in the West, right? Your Crime Junkies and the True Crime Obsessed, all these true crime podcasts that were there. And the market there is huge, as you'd know.
They have more crime, no? Oh, do we not report ours?
I think it's more that,
Something like that.
we have our own Sansani case.
Ooh.
And
If I do this, it's a no ball. Huh? We have rules in India.
and dude, she was trying to get me to listen to all these true crime podcasts, and I don't like consuming crime as content. I don't like consuming it. And so I quipped at her one day when she was forcing me to listen to a Crime Junkie episode, going, why do you just listen to white crime podcasts? Why not Indian crime podcasts?
White crime?
Yeah. Like
Bro, you're called Aryan. You've already sold out.
It's Aryaan.
Aryaan! It's like Aisha. The whole conversation is correcting the person.
Yeah, dude, in that moment, we realized there is a supply-demand mismatch, right? Because clearly, I mean, people in India also want crime content and would love to listen to crime podcasts, but there's nobody serving that genre. And yeah, dude, out of our dorm room, we
For
started.
example, I don't know whether this is a bias. We know a lot about their serial killers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can name about 5 of them off the top of my head. Really struggling with Indian serial killers, and we have many.
Do you know
like Ranga
that the-
Bella is the only 2 I can remember.
Ranga, That's not a serial killer.
Well, weren't they serial killers?
No, they just killed 2 people.
They only killed 2?
They just
They killed more.
No, Rang and Billa killed the 2 kids they
taxi driver
kidnapped.
guys,
Yeah, they took
Bus
2
itna hi?
kids.
I'm not bus itna hi, that's insensitive. Sorry about that. Oh, shit.
I told a friend
Misra
I'm going
ji,
on Cyrus's
you're
show,
screwing me here.
and they were like, how will he make jokes about murder? I was like, he will.
Murder, father, what do we care?
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Funnily enough, the world record, Guinness World Record serial killer is actually Indian. A thug Behram.
Should we be proud?
Yeah, 931.
Behram, Parsi che?
Almost. 931.
No
documented.
way.
Yeah.
931 kills.
He was a thug. He was part of the Thuggy clan.
That thuggy thing.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah.
Did he document this? There's data?
Yeah, there is data.
Or they
There
just
is-
like
no,
a
no,
legend?
No, the British documented it
I don't
pretty
know,
well.
I'm torn between being proud of
it's
my
a
guy,
murky
Desi
space, yeah.
boys and all that.
Yeah.
And तूने क्या किया life
Gang,
में?
gang.
Ouch, 931. So then, what is that? John Wayne Gacy and
Bruh, there's nothing.
50, 60 is nothing.
Nothing.
Jeffrey Dahmer is what?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Oof. So not bad. But in the recent last 20, 30 years, or at least since you were alive kind of thing, do we have a serial killer? A big one? Indian.
Cyanide. Cyanide.
Oh,
murder,
that's
yeah.
the whole family thing.
Food, yeah. That qualifies as serial killer.
You think? But not the stalking type and all. That's more like a cult
No, so
thing.
you have how's that a cult thing? She's killing her family members one after the other every 2-3 years.
Okay. So how many total?
She?
Yeah,
I
the
think
total deaths were?
7 or something like that. Yeah.
Abba, where? 7 and 931. Look at the record.
Now I know. So we need to come with a sort of metric for serial killers and basic bitch murderers.
God, we're almost like egging them on. Guys, give us something. Yeah. All right, let's get back to Michigan. So you not didn't like, but it was not your thing.
Yeah, I don't consume.
But having
crime.
said that, a lot of us, we have conversations all the time. Our proprietor, the great Amit Doshi, and me love discussing this subject. I think a lot of people are fascinated with criminals, crime, why, how, modus operandi. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's a dark side to our minds or what it is. I'm not sure. But I know a lot of people that I've grown up with who we can have this conversation for long. I was quite happy when they said he does a crime podcast. Normally when the guest is, what is a picture here, OTT, whatever. I'm like, oh, fuck. Chalo, theek hai. So I was happy. This was.
I'm glad.
Yeah. No, just because the genre I thought is unexplored and actually something we spend a lot of time talking about.
Yeah, and I think it just helps you tap into the extremities of human behavior, right? Like, and that's why people see again. Many people have different sort of explanations for why crime is a popular genre. I mean, one data point is 75% of my listeners are female, right? And that is across the world.
The criminal behavior is more with females.
Or at least consuming it. Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand.
I'm just stating facts.
I'm the pupil, he's the teacher. You have an issue, talk to Mr. Misra.
This is a descriptive claim, not a normative claim. No, but
75% women.
And I don't know what that tells you about why crime is popular, but there are many, many reasons as to why we find it fascinating.
And in a way, do we glamorize it also? I'm a little worried about that sometimes. We went through this. There was this Netflix show or something with these serial killers. I'm very bad with names and all. And then we just kept discussing
I know.
it.
Aryaan.
Yeah, there you go. And you're not even a serial killer.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, but do you think, are we slightly fascinated in a like where we actually look up to them? That's the only scary part.
I think there are many a times that happens. There is a certain, you have the Jeffrey Dahmers being sort of...
I mean, they are glorified in the day.
They are glorified. Of course they're glorified.
Women used to write to them in prison and they were like...
Ted Bundy was like a
sex
fucking
symbol.
hottie for... So I don't know where that comes from, I don't know where that comes... So it's funny, people, to substantiate why 75% of the listeners are female, sort of feminist sociologists would claim it is in order to feel safe. You can experience, because women are subject to crime more so than any...
They're more sensitized to crime is what you're saying.
No, they feel safer by learning what situations to avoid and what not by listening to true crime. Now, as I'm like, sure, that could explain some people, but there are many people like the love letter writing women to Ted Bundy who weren't trying to... You can't have a feminist explanation for that. There is something else.
They're attracted.
They're attracted. They're scared. And we find it fascinating. You don't need to rationalize. It's so weird to like crime as a genre to consume that you want to come up with a virtuous explanation for why you like it. Instead of simply saying, I find it bloody fascinating.
But is like the right word, or should we be saying fascinated? Yes.
Yeah, but my point is, the connotation is what irks you, right?
No, but see, if you read Mein Kampf, or you're studying Hitler,
it
doesn't necessarily mean you like Hitler, right? I
No,
mean,
you like
you're
history.
fascinated by World War II, what happened, why did this happen?
Correct.
So I'm thinking it starts like that, but then when you get into it more and more, are you
But yeah, I
idealizing?
promise you there are my listeners love crime as a genre.
So we do love crime as a genre.
Yeah,
as a,
of course not
without
like
the
crime as the
personal
object.
touch.
Correct.
Once you can't say I'm Ted Bundy's my guy,
Yeah.
I grew up with Tendulkar and Bundy. I mean, it's a wrong
And
thing.
Bundy.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah, Ten Bundy. Okay, let's go back and trace the journey again.
Yeah.
So you were in Michigan. You guys decided, this is just like not a serious thing. You said, let's just do a podcast.
Yeah, a
let's see how
little
it
bit of
goes.
a. So we had both sort of. We were auditors in high school, writers, and we thought.
I'll just explain this. Hindi लोग हैं इधर. Auditor का मतलब है that person who talks loudly.
व्याख्या हिंदी में
Is that it?
ऐसे कुछ होता
You go
है.
for it. Your Misra ji means
Misra
you're from
ji,
UP.
थोड़ा लहजा तो
At
है
least
मेरा,
one of
of
us should
course,
speak
yeah,
Hindi.
bring out the
probably.
Kanpur in me.
Kanpur born?
No, but mom from
Lots of
there,
Parsi
so-
families.
Parsi family in
Yeah.
Kanpur?
I mean, lots means if there's
Lots
9,
meaning.
it's huge. Come on. Green Park Stadium, bro. All memories of mine growing up.
Yeah?
No, I didn't grow up in Kanpur, but Kanpur was quite the forward city back in the day.
Yeah.
And then slowly Lucknow sort of took over.
Yeah,
But
and
Kanpur
but
was
it-
the city.
Acha?
Yeah.
Okay.
How I'm teaching you this?
I love Kanpur.
Yeah,
But,
great.
Like I didn't never thought
How
it
come they
would be
didn't
called
vote for
progressive.
the center?
Uh,
another podcast for another day. Then Mr. Ji's gone quiet.
hey, what are you
ये नहीं हो
talking
पाएगा.
about?
अभी बंद.
So
back to Michigan and
back to Michigan, back to why we started it. Yes, it wasn't. I was a biology student. She was a pre-law student. So it wasn't definitely not something we set out on as a very sort of this is going to be our life, obviously. But we still did diligently. We spent our sort of student job savings on buying good equipment, and yeah, man, we started in COVID. COVID shut the college down. We flew back to India. We were like, what else can we do when we are locked inside? We might as well start a podcast. And yeah, man, one thing.
So you
led to
actually
another.
started it in India then?
Geographically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you were back in where? Kanpur? Where were you?
No, Noida, Delhi.
Noida.
Yeah.
That's not so glamorous.
It is not at all.
I love
It's
your
not a
Kanpur
forward
story.
city.
Stay with
and
Kanpur.
it's-
Don't say I'm from Noida. Next you'll say I'm from Gurgaon. You don't mention all these
I've
things.
spent 8 years there. So,
Yeah.
but,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, where did she go? Where did she go back?
Go back as in?
She came back to Noida as well? Where
Yeah,
did
yeah. She
Okay,
lived
so
there.
you did the thing together from the beginning, or you were in your
No,
houses?
it was. I mean, she was in a different building. COVID, you couldn't even leave
that's
your building.
horrible. Yeah.
Bro, but it was always audio. Why is it horrible? It's amazing. Audio podcasting was the
You
best,
think?
man.
But the problem is, I liked audio podcasting, and then we started watching the videos, and then you get spoiled.
No, I know. These people get spoiled.
Yeah.
And so you need to cater what they want. But when it was just audio for 3 years, man, I had a mic in my backpack and I was all over the world. And
Yeah, and
I
you
could
don't have to
do
wear
from where-
clothes. There's so many advantages. Really.
That, yes.
The guest is in some other. What do you care?
And I didn't even have guests. It was just me.
Yeah, or you could pretend to be the guest. Name
I'm interviewing the criminal.
You're Aryaan. You could be
getting
change your name anytime. So started in Noida and from separate houses because you're stuck in COVID, etc. So what do you do? You research your stories. Tell us about the podcast now. What's the process?
Oh
there?
man, so it's a true crime podcast where one of us will be telling tales of crime that we research and write, and the co-host is a listener. The co-host is a virgin to the story, just like the audio listener or the viewer would be,
Nice.
and therefore serving as like a vicarious vessel through which your questions
Really
can
thought
be.
this through. I wish we had someone like him to advise us.
So the thing is, it started off as a logistical ease, because we were college students. We had full time. We had 4 college jobs. We had to manage, and so in writing, and I'm sure you would have experienced this. Too many cooks spoil the dish, or whatever the saying is. It is easier for me to write a script myself. It'll take lesser time. If I collaborate with somebody, it's that back and forth of kaise karna hai, kya karna hai, mujhe ye nahi acha lagta. So we were like, you take one script a week, I'll take one script a week, and
Nice.
we'll just do that. And it ended up being this thing where
It's good
the
governance.
listener-
You delegate properly. Don't
Yes.
come in each other's path.
There was no coalition government, so it was easy.
He's got that UP blood. No? The political consciousness is there somewhere. Yeah. So, let's. What was the first episode? Because now you come back, and it's like a Desi podcast in a sense. You're focusing more here, or everything.
So Desi
As in
South
India-
Asian
Okay.
and an expat. So like it can be Desi around the world also, but it has to be Desi
Oh.
from the landmass, which is what it means.
Yeah, there are all these strange honor killings and all that I keep reading
Yes.
about from time to time.
Yeah.
And we'll get into all that, but I was just thinking, what would be, is there a type of crime that we are, okay, famous is the wrong word, that we popularize?
this is
I don't know, I'm
difficult
trying to
to
say
talk
the right
about
thing was
crime.
this stays forever. and they'll say,
Yeah.
old man doesn't
Not like
not
Fascinated.
woke. huh?
Yeah.
You'll get away, young man, good looking. And the old men who they target all the time, you don't understand, chappals and all that. They won't let me keep the chappals after throwing them. Huh. So is there something that where we sort of like I know honor killings for the whole
Honor
subcontinent.
killings.
Pakistan is included
highest per capita.
and then there's white collar crimes and all that.
But it's not specific to us.
But I thought we invented a lot of that.
We invented white
A
collar.
lot of Europeans have no idea about dishonesty, no?
True.
They
They
have no
would.
idea
Yeah,
what,
yeah. What?
You can fill in anything there. It's like that.
Yeah, I think honor killings is one. Honor killings and
And it
unfortunately
continues.
rapes. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's stopped to suddenly in
Honor killings,
2023, 24.
Honor killings are yeah. In India, I don't know why the reporting subsided. I think the pop culture, the movies and all around honor killings were at a peak in that sort of 2016, 2017 with NH, whatever those Anushka Sharma movies
Oh,
were.
NH 13, what is it?
Yeah. So it just makes you puts it in the national psyche, and so you're like, oh my god, this is a problem, but it festers still. It's just not talked about as widely. In Pakistan, man, it's crazy. One of the cases that I find honor killings very bewildering because they're
The
so.
word is wrong.
It's so. If even just biology feels so anti-evolution, right? With the point, what is the point of us making more kids, right? And you're killing your own kids. Why? I mean, if the point of social evolution is to create an environment where we can have more humans, right? And it's so counterintuitive to me that honor killings can develop in a society and really be.
And possibly the father was very nice to the kids till that point. I mean, they probably had a decent relationship. We don't know, not in all cases, I'm sure. But it's possible they suddenly just go berserk over this one thing.
One thing. And dude, what is the one thing? So the one I need to keep an emotional distance from the cases we cover. We've covered too many cases for me to be emotionally invested in everyone. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a stable human being. So there's a distance me and my co-host create. But there's some cases that get you, right? And so the first case of honor killing that I covered was from Kohistan in northern Pakhtunkhwa, Khyber region of Pakistan. And this case came across me as 5 women were kidnapped and tortured in a room for 30 days because of a video that was leaked. And so I was like, I got to see the video. And I was pretty sure it's some salacious video, some sex tape or some pornographic stuff has to be that. Which of course doesn't justify it, but I was like, okay, wo hoga. And dude, I was shattered when I saw the video that got 5 women tortured and killed eventually. In the video, these women were fully clad in traditional clothing, singing traditional folk songs and clapping. Their sin was that 2 men were dancing to their music, fully clad, just dancing.
In the background dancing.
In the same room, in the video. So that meant that men and women were in the same room.
They ultimately died because of the men being in the room.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, God. I shouldn't complain about my wife then. Sorry. I was just thinking, sometimes our worlds are so petty. You tell me a story like that, you just put it in perspective. I'm so sorry, Aryaan. We're not trying to be insensitive.
I knew this was going to happen. No, you know me. That you just being
I was just thinking, I'm always complaining about my problems. And I'm thinking, look at when you hear this, you feel like such an idiot.
Yeah.
Really. It's ridiculous how people have, how cruel human beings can be.
Yes.
Actually. Male ego, I think, is part of. You'll probably know better than anyone now since you're really in.
Or male ego, thanks.
No, in the sense that isn't male ego causing all this at the end of the day?
A lot of it, man.
Our crime that we're.
Bro, a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. At least the female-centric violence, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Do you remember the first podcast you did?
Yes, dude.
Which story did you go with? And
Burari.
Okay.
Before Burari was ever, Burari.
Yeah.
Before Burari was ever a thing, we covered Burari, and simultaneously we released the story of the real Gabbar Singh. He was actually he was a real dacoit.
Sholay Gabbar Singh.
I mean, the name Sholay.
Oh, it's taken from a real dacoit.
So the writer sort of took inspiration from a real dacoit. The stories
Salim,
don't match.
Javed?
Yeah. But yeah, Gabbar Singh was a real dacoit. Had a proper blockbuster encounter. Chambal.
Okay.
Yeah. Proper blockbuster encounter with the MP police. It's all in the MP police records from 1971.
Yeah.
So the commissioner of that time maintained a diary. And so he's written all his encounters down, one with Gabbar Singh. And they used to have a classification for dacoits back in 1971. I think it was like D1, D2, D3. For the
Only we can do this.
Yeah, for
a caste system in crime also. Yeah.
Yeah, for the severity of the
You're
crime.
not that bad.
And Gabbar was, I think, D4.
The worst.
No.
The least.
There were like 20.
Okay.
So he was D4.
Oh, so we don't know. Long way to go.
Yeah, but fourth
But
was.
it's very contemporary writing then, because you're saying 71, the MP
Yes.
inspectors maintaining data, and 75 or somewhere there, the film release, Sholay, if we look at the
I've
timing.
never seen the movie.
You've never seen Sholay?
Dude, I'm
Okay,
a
that's a
kid.
crime.
that's
a crime.
Hey,
the
was
first
it?
crime
Nice,
that you've
nice,
committed. How
nice.
can you not see Sholay?
I know, dude.
I think we should tax people who haven't seen Sholay. Oh, what a
I
fabulous
haven't
movie.
haven't seen most
Yeah.
old movies, dude. You're now, as you grow older, young people will start to come on your pod, and so we don't get the cultural.
Oh, you don't start. I've already complained about one lady didn't know who Kapil Dev was.
Who?
22-year-old girl from Delhi. We
No,
were having
who's Kapil
conversation.
Dev? I'm kidding. I'm still a man at the end of the day.
Wow! 2 crimes in 5 seconds.
You're the one that laughed at honor killings. So.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't laugh at honor killings. I looked at my life for a second and said that, I
That
I should
second
stop.
was so small, the
I
lines
said
were
I gotta
blurred,
stop complaining
Cyrus.
about my wife and my petty, stupid life. And you tell me stories about 5 women dying because 2 men were in the room.
That's
I mean, that's just, oh God, let's not go there. I mean, we'll have to, because that's just the whole topic. So that was the first one. Then what kind of feedback do you get? Did people write in saying, God, that's, because it is fascinating and it's also,
Yeah, I mean, it was. Thank you for. It was a. We run an English podcast,
Yeah.
right? So if your English podcast is thereby consumed primarily by tier one audience and sort of, and some parts of tier
you
two.
should do what I do. Put one bench in the middle and say it's Hindi.
Huh?
हो गया स्पॉन्सर भी मिलेगा वो
I'm
उस
not as
point
funny
पे
as you, Cyrus.
no listen उस point पे beep करना पड़ेगा when you show to the sponsor, that's all. Where is the Hindi? Oh, sir था. Okay, so tier 1 audience. If I interrupt you, just
No,
ignore
please,
me. You'll do it naturally. After
I
some
was
time.
a dude. I mean, I was the week that wasn't whore. My dad used to. That
Whore.
was white noise, man, at my home, and
Yeah.
so I'm just used to you interrupting people all the
Oh my
time.
gosh.
And so
That's a compliment, by the way. Huh?
yeah, kind of. But
Why are you saying kind of? God, unbelievable today's generation.
yeah, I know who Kapil Dev is. No, my point is, what were you asking? I forgot. Too many tangents.
Oh, God knows, I don't know. We keep going in different directions.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Desi crime.
No, I was the reactions you got, because in the
Yes,
beginning,
yeah.
when you start a podcast, this is what I think also, because when we started, said to the first few reactions you get, it sort of propel you in whatever direction you're going, because that's all you have. Initially, less people or whatever, but you take whatever comments seriously, etc.
Yeah, I think we did take the comments to some degree seriously, although we had faith in what we were doing and we were like, fuck all. I'll be honest, we were fuck all. We didn't take
It took
all
him
the-
20 minutes or whatever to start abusing.
Yeah,
huh?
sorry.
This generation, what is it, Gen Z? क्या है?
Yeah, Ben should beep. No.
अरे स्पॉन्सर की बात है भाई 2 बार बोलना पड़ेगा.
But it was positive. It was an audience that was primarily consuming.
Also, you had
Western
this
content.
lovely process, which I think is a great idea, that one of you is Aam Aadmi or whatever, the
Yeah,
listener.
yeah.
And that once you do that, literally, like me
great.
asking you questions, I'm belonging to the people watching.
Exactly.
So I think
you'll
that's
think
a-
the same questions, and it sort of steelmans my script.
Yeah.
If I forgot to research something or sort of make a certain connection, the listener is going to experience the same thing that Aishwarya will.
Right.
And so, thereby filling that gap of where I could have missed in the script, she'll ask that question, and the listeners are like, yeah, please, I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they will also come back to you when you do the next thing. Would you back ref what you've just spoken about?
I try to avoid that as much as possible to let each episode be a standalone thing. But yeah, sometimes we do, but rarely.
Okay. We're going to talk about the Sheena Bora case and all that, whatever cases that people probably,
Yeah.
what's the right word? Popular, or because it's there, as you said,
Sure.
media, the
Sure.
OTT, whatever, they promote things.
Promote
Not promote things.
Wow.
Help me, I'm drowning. I'm drowning. Throw me a rope here. So we'll, but that's, I won't say that it's overdone or something, but it's there in the public
It is
eye.
there.
Lots is not there, which you recorded.
Yes.
So which are the cases you think have not got the kind of not publicity, but people awareness. People should know about the kind of evil and horror that is in our society.
Evil and horror, huh? I
And don't mention
Sheena.
Doordarshan.
Huh?
Carry on.
Sheena Bora and all, I actually am not. It's just too overdone. I don't like consuming crime, like I said, and when it's a crime that's been covered too much, the joy of researching and actually giving light to somebody's story just disappears. So there's too much. Sheena Bora, everybody's talked about. There's nothing
Let's say
interesting.
you're the expert.
Yeah.
Sorry. Quickly now, because I know you don't want to talk about it then. Did she do it, in your esteemed opinion?
Sheena Bora.
sorry,
didn't do it. Indrani.
Indrani.
I think the answer lies in some of the newer videos of her.
On what we saw on the OTT.
No, bro. What she's been posting on her Instagram since.
Oh, Jesus.
She's posting Kathakali and ballet and God knows what all, and it is so poorly done. But that smile on her face, as if she is the shit. She sat on the documentary's edit, and she approved it. She thought she looked innocent in that. That's how, when you are not a psychopath, when you're a sociopath, you don't understand how others view you, because you don't understand normal emotions. So in that documentary, which by the way I haven't seen, I've just seen clips of it, she looks guilty, right? The way she's talking, and she looks guilty. She approved those edits. She sat on the edits.
Okay, I'll just play devil's advocate for a second. But what are you supposed to do? Supposing all this happened and she did not kill her own daughter, years later, you go, you have a life. So I mean, whether you're doing Odyssey recital or whatever, ballet, jazz ballet. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, if it was you or me, God forbid, I'm saying, what do you do with your life, right?
No,
so I'm saying that's not necessarily connected to the fact that
blood. You should watch the videos. You should watch the reels. It's not normal. There is something very sinister
she's
about...
enjoying herself too much, is what you're saying.
Yes. No, I mean, it's weird. I need you to see that video. You can play it. The way she does it, there's something off. There's sometimes...
She's trying too hard.
Or
if you could put it in words, I know it's a little intangible.
I just... The word I have is sociopathic. There is a...
It's a little confusing, socio and psycho. You quickly
different
corrected
words,
yourself. So what's the difference?
So, sociopaths don't understand how... people view them as one facet. Psychopaths...
Abhay sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And psychopaths don't feel emotion.
Jennifer. I'm glad. Now I have a face to the, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not Latin anymore. Yeah. So you're not going out on a limb. I guess, again, it's difficult to not... But the media... See, you guys are doing a podcast. I think it's a more balanced sort of way of telling a story of crime. When you have media scrutiny for months... Front pages of print, internet left, right, and center. Foreigners giving their 2 bits. Every regional language.
Foreign.
No, I'm saying it's like what are your chances of getting? There's a sort of prejudice for or against, and that's in the public eye. So in their case, again, I'm not taking her side.
Friends with Indrani, huh?
No, I'm just saying that it's already. Look, there's a good chance. Did I agree with you? As if we had to, put our money where our mouth is. But I'm just saying, what if she didn't do it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it sucks to be her.
Fuck.
Big whoop. I don't know.
Aryaan ka jawab bahut ajeeb sa jawab hai bhai.
Big whoop. I mean, all the evidence is pointing to it and all that. It's a very OJ sort of
So why is
thing,
she out?
Why was OJ out? Why are so many people out?
Good point.
What?
OJ,
I didn't expect...
OJ, they couldn't find a second option, no? Just the glove didn't fit, right? If I remember correctly. Why did that happen?
His lawyers were fantastic. No, the judge was dude, do you gloves are very tough to wear, those latex rubber gloves, those kind of leather gloves that you have. He barely firstly put his hand in. And there are many reasons as to why that could have been, except it could have shrunk also. It was I don't know.
Like... You're too young. What do you know?
Yeah. OJ was a black guy.
Yeah, OJ was my vintage.
Things how old do you think I am?
25.
23.
Fucking old, man. 23. I thought we were getting kids on the podcast and also we can change our ratings a little bit. This old man here. Yeah, just joking. So back again to Sheena Bora. I don't want to ask you anything more about it. What about the Peter Mukherjee angle?
Bro, so firstly, Aishwarya researched this case, and that's why I don't feel it's fair for me to weigh. I was the listener on this one, and so I'm not well versed in this case as Aishwarya would be. It's not my stronghold. But
just as to gossips, do you think he could be completely not in the dark of all this happening, living in the same house?
See, it's convoluted. I do think that he would have known to some degree, but I think. Your opinion is best summarized by the fact that your first question to me was, did Sheena Bora do it? So I think you've already made up your mind.
No, for me, honestly, the problem is you're closest to an expert that I have. I don't have anyone from the crime branch or whoever's investigating it. So in a sense, you've become experts now because you're researching subjects.
Sure.
It's close to
Aishwarya is more
your level is higher than ours. So I'm just thinking maybe you've got your vision is a little better. That's all.
See, I just know people that have worked with her, and all of them have told me there's something off about that lady. So I am basing it off not being the one that researched this case. It was Aishwarya. Just the vibes I get, and the vibes I get don't pass the vibe check. That's all I'll say.
But that's not, for me, I mean, as the son of a lawyer, I mean, I need concrete evidence.
No, I'm saying post evidence.
Yeah.
The evidence, dude, I think the evidence points to her story keeps
See,
changing.
There's one thing, I agree with you. There's one thing you mentioned, Vic, that wasn't. We have an actor who plays all the female roles because you don't have budgets, called Kunal Vijayakar. And he famously danced with her at a party once in the 90s.
Okay.
When we were both young. And after which all this has happened. So I don't want to. Why are you laughing? I'm not saying.
I thought you were going to give some insight or something.
Guys, yaar. Now you can't blame Kunal for all the crimes like this. But I'm just saying. Nothing happened before he danced with her. After he danced with all this has happened. I'm just leaving it out there. We'll take a quick break and then come back. Speculation.
Yeah.
But isn't that the fun of it? Not fun again,
Oh,
wrong word.
God.
But isn't that why you watch a show? Because you start
Thinking what could have been.
the whodunits and all that we grew up watching and all is all because we spend the whole time trying to figure out who the person is. And in reality, it's even double the, let's not use the word fun, but the sort of adrenaline surge that you get. All right.
Fascination.
Fascinating. Stop correcting the old man. We'll take a break and we'll come back and Aryaan is going to tell us some more about crime and podcasts.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcasts Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by actor and host of No Filter Neha Dhupia, who gets candid about her thriving career along with marriage and motherhood. Get to know about her journey, her upcoming releases, and what it was like to have a cricket legend like Bishan Singh Bedi as a father-in-law. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam Gupta chats with legendary investor Mark Mobius, founder of Mobius Capital. They talk about Mark's latest book on investing, and Mark shares his daily routine, career insights, and invaluable advice for young investors. Folks, if you like our shows, spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You'll also find all our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week: Omidyar Network India, IDFC First Bank, and ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Thank you for making this possible.
Aryaan is his name, Misra, if you want to say it correctly. A boy from Michigan, actually, who decided to do a podcast with his good friend Aishwarya Singh, who's not here. She's on leave.
She lives in Delhi.
What the hell does that mean?
She lives in Delhi.
Okay.
And you're in Mumbai.
Okay, so what are you doing in Mumbai?
I live in Mumbai.
You just said you live in Noida.
No, I said I started the podcast when we
Watch
had to
the show.
come back.
Oh.
When we came back during COVID because everything was shut down. I started the podcast and then we went back and then I was in the States only. I've not...
Okay, I'm very confused, yaar. So now how do you do the crime podcast together?
So now we have a studio in Delhi. Now we have video. So like you, I need to be at set and whatnot.
So you go back to Delhi,
Yeah.
record a few and then come back?
Exactly.
Okay.
Once every 6 weeks.
Now it's all falling into place. So
But before 3 months, it was all audio, right? So we were just doing it from wherever we were.
Yeah.
And we were just traveling and recording on the fly.
Okay. And so Aishwarya and you 50-50 equity?
Yeah.
Okay. Just asking. Because you never know if this thing blows up. We should also get a leg in at some point. Fabulous stories. All right. So now let's talk about cases that have fascinated you. This is a question you'll get all the time, I'm sure, when people interview you. You'll be an interesting guy at cocktail parties. You'll all be interested in asking you questions.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just thinking.
Beyond the crime, I hope. But yes.
No. You're not going to get girls. You're going to get popular. But when you get
75% female listeners, Cyrus.
Yes, but they're also over 75. वो भी एक चीज है ना, उम्र भी एक चीज है बेटा.
18 to 25 is the listener group.
This is not MTV generation, bro. This is all gone now. So what? Mrs. Sharma likes you.
Yeah.
What?
It's so
Kahan hai
funny.
beta?
Look at the shirt I'm wearing. That's so funny.
I love hot moms.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot is the right direction. Okay, leave it. Who the hell are we? So, not favorite, but tell us about some of the episodes that are fascinating for you. Yeah.
Yes. So one that really captured my imagination in the last 3 weeks, it actually dropped this past weekend, was the case of a boy named T2 Singh. Does that ring a bell for you? No, it doesn't. Glad. In 1983, December 10th.
I'm sorry if I'm smiling, but this just
can
your
smile.
setups are wrong. Because I feel it's something funny, but I know it's not. So now I'm that nervous. You know when you're at a
It's
funeral
okay.
and you start smiling when
That's
you shouldn't?
fine.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
going
glad
through
I
that.
could make Cyrus nervous. No.
Yeah, I just don't want to smile. But all I can do is
it's
smile.
okay. December 12th, actually. A boy named T2 was born, who at the age of 18 months, 2 years, this kid, his first words, well, my first words at 2 maybe were Gaga or something like that.
Lady Gaga.
Exactly. Poker face. And his first words were, मैं यहाँ का नहीं हूँ. And
This is like sci-fi now?
it's not sci-fi. Okay, so I entered when I learnt of this case thinking this is BS. That's the lens I entered with, which is why it's so fascinating, because it's not BS. Anyway, let's go with it. His statements started becoming more specific and more frequent. So, mera naam Suresh hai.
This is an 18-month-old baby.
18, so it starts at 18. And up until the age of 4, he starts making more statements.
Full
Yes,
senten-
full
full
statements,
sentences.
full sentences. And I'll get to how this is all documented. So this is not hearsay. Wait for it. It takes time to run a Desi crime episode. And statements like मेरा नाम सुरेश है, मेरी बीवी का नाम उमा है, आप लोग गरीबी में रहते हो,
man.
आप लोग गरीबी में रहते हो, to his family. And now his family lived in a village called Bad, 10 kilometers outside Agra, but they were educated. His dad was a chemistry professor. So they didn't, go to the very inevitable rural conclusion of which are possessed or something like that. They said, Satya hai.
Academic mind.
Sure. And let it be. Let his problems they'll go away. Kids have imaginary friends, right? This could be, he's having a moment. But the moment
He's
kept
also like a
continuing.
genius. 18 months,
Full sentences. And very haughty kid. And around the age of 4, he makes a claim going, मेरा नाम सुरेश था, मेरा murder, हाँ, मैं सुरेश हूँ, whatever, I'm not, no quote unquote. I was murdered. और मेरी आगरा में सुरेश रेडियो करके रेडियो शॉप है. The parents finally cave. They send their oldest son to Agra, to Sadr Bazaar ki, bro, just check it. Nahi hoga. For once and for all, this issue is over with. Their eldest son goes to Agra, goes to Sadr Bazaar. Lo and behold, Suresh radio shop exists there. This is 1986, 3 years from when he's born. He walks in. There is a woman at the reception. He goes, where is Suresh? She goes, Suresh died 3 years ago. My name is Uma. I'm his wife. Now, of course, for T2's family, this is all the evidence. They're like, our kid was fucking telling the truth. But now you enter Uma. Uma and her sort of in-laws going, you're claiming your brother is my dead husband. Is my dead husband? They didn't believe it for a second. So they came to Bad to check it out for themselves. The moment Uma entered the house, this kid ran to her and hugged her. He just recognized her. They still didn't believe it. So they put this kid through the ringer, asking question after question. And he told Uma specific details, like what they did before the day of his murder. He said, मैं तुम्हें एक कार्निवल पे ले गया था, जहाँ हमने जलेबी खाई थी, गाड़ी के bonnet पे बैठ के, right? And now Uma was like, how could
only
this
she
kid,
could know.
only he could, like, there is no other way. But T2, sort of Suresh's parents weren't believing it, right? So they put even more tests. Tests like Suresh had kids, and they gathered 20 kids in the living room.
पहचानते हैं ना.
हाँ, देखते हैं कि पहचानते. He immediately went up to Monu and Tonu, his kids, and said, मुझे नमस्ते क्यों नहीं किया? This 4-year-old saying to 7-year-old kid.
It's all there. Like
It's
your video?
all. It's.
Okay, you'll come to it.
Yeah, I know. This is what happens.
Premature ejaculation.
Yeah. While we're talking about kids.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, bro,
Love that,
bro.
Cyrus.
You're really bad. You're a bad man.
Love it. In fact, bro, when they left the house, he saw the car and he said, that's not my car. My car is a white Fiat. And they were like, dude, he's right again. He sat in the car. Uma's family came in and at the age of 4 drove the car.
No.
He drove the car.
How will he reach the clutch and all, yaar?
The parents, they pressed the clutch for him. And बाकी उसने खुद कर लिया. Anyway, now...
Is that on video?
I'll tell you what's on video. God damn it, Cyrus.
I can't believe it.
I know. Again, at this point, I'm not believing. I'm going into. So this is a case of reincarnation, right? Case of reincarnation. I don't believe in reincarnation, right? So I went to it as a complete naysayer, as in I want to figure out why this isn't true, why people believe it. That's what I started off as, and one thing after the other within the family, it was substantiated that T2 is actually Suresh. Now, BBC came in 1987 and documented this whole thing, documented their testimonies of everybody. It's all on tape. And then the University of Virginia sent professors to research. They sent a Harvard professor who worked at the Perceptual Studies Department, Psychology. She came believing, this is hoax. And her study just revealed there are too many overlaps of his claims that only this kid could have known, and Suresh's life. And there's one piece of forensic evidence that had me convinced more than anything else. So reincarnation studies in the West were pioneered by a man named Ian Stevenson. And Ian Stevenson's research shows that in cases of reported reincarnation, there tends to be a birthmark that resembles the mode of death of the previous person.
Like a Manmohan Desai film now.
Suresh Verma was killed in 1983.
Right.
He was shot dead. The wound entered his right temple. So that's a small wound. And there are autopsy reports of this, that Dr. Antonia Mills was able to recover from the hospital. So bullet wound, small round wound, and when a bullet leaves, it's a splatter wound because it opens up, right? And so Suresh's right temple wound, back of the head exit. T2. Birthmark, small round birthmark on the right temple, splatter birthmark, like splotches of birthmarks on the back of his head.
Ouch.
Now, I was researching this. I hadn't slept for 72 hours, and I was like, I need to know if this kid is alive today. And so I was researching, and I found something that he has spent some time at BHU as a professor. And I was like, I need to get a number. I called people, and I got a number. Somebody saying, this is Toran Singh's. That was his actual name. T2 was his nickname. And I dialed him up, and the line kept going. And he finally picked up, and I said, is this Dr. Toran Singh? He said, Hanji. 2 days later, I drove to Rishikesh to interview him, first since 1989. And now he's the Dean of Patanjali University. And
they've got their own problems. But 1 second. So when you spoke to him, obviously you asked him?
Of course, we interviewed him.
So he's fully aware of his...
Fully aware, super
Atma
humble. Super humble. Of course, a smart guy. I mean,
doctor and all that.
And Patanjali, I don't know, but BHU is still pretty good, I hope. Dude, I played devil's advocate as much as I could have. What are some theories as to the deceit, right? Conceit and deceit. They got nothing out of this. They got no money out of this. BBC didn't pay them a dime. In fact, they wanted their kid, T2's parents, wanted him to leave Agra so that he is not embroiled in all of this. So I'm like, okay, that angle doesn't stand true. Why would he have lied? And then the other angle, funnily enough, that Antonia Mills, the Harvard professor that came to research it in 1987, she was like, this is a case of caste conversion. Sometimes back in India, back in the days in India, you would claim to be of a higher caste in your previous life so that you can have some social mobility upwards, right? You can say, I was a Brahmin in a previous life. So now, both Suresh and T2 were of the same caste, both were Vaishya. So that theory falls flat as well. And so there is no theory, man. I tried to prod it as much as I could.
What happened between the wife and the kids and all that later on? As he grew up, as T2 grew up?
As T2 grew up, he used to frequent the wife's place. And every Tuesday, he used to go meet his parents, like, Suresh's parents. Other, and he used to call them Ma.
And whoever shot him and all that, could you identify who they were?
He actually met them.
Crime. He met them?
Yes. 8 years after Suresh's murder, they were released. And they came to... This is the first time he ever shared this in public, was in our interview.
Wow.
And it was mind-boggling. Dude, it's mind-boggling to hear him recount his murder. He said, mujhe zyada yaad nahi hai. And he sighs when he talks about it, a little frazzled. And he was like, there were 2 people. उन्होंने मुझे नमस्ते बोला और फिर दूसरा वाला साइड से आके गोली मारती. बस मुझे इतना याद है.
क्यों? कारण क्या है इसमें?
So he was a smuggler. Suresh Verma
Suresh
was
Radio.
a smuggler. Yeah, Suresh
Yeah.
Radio. He was a smuggler, and these were his
Accomplices.
what are they called? Co-businessmen, but in the I'm forgetting the word. But
Vendors of some sort. There was
yeah,
a
they were
dispute.
also smugglers. They were.
There was
sort
a
of-
dispute.
Yes, there was a
It
dispute.
was a monetary thing.
It was, and there are other reasons he told us off tape as to why it happened that I can share with you later, like side mein. But
I'm paying good money for this.
paying a dime?
What, give me a hint. What is the other reasons?
No, I can't.
Money, I understand.
I couldn't put it in my own pod.
Really?
Yeah.
But you accept his theories, everything he told you.
हाँ ये तो बहुत छोटा reason है जिसमें it's murder क्यों हुआ. हाँ, I'll tell you later. But that is besides.
I'll tell you later. I'll come back alone.
I'm not telling
Atma
you
is
later.
Same.
Forget about it.
Wow, what a story, bro.
Yeah, man.
You must have also been a little, spooked.
I was crazy. I mean, last T2 was documented was when he was 5-6 years old. In my research, that's what I saw. And then like, fast forward 2 days later, I'm sitting in front of this 41-year-old man in his office, biggest office in Patanjali University, which is a huge university.
An extremely nice guy, like
Extremely nice guy. So as a kid, he was, very haughty and mean, which people said is exactly like Suresh, the smuggler.
Okay.
And that personality waned off.
Okay.
He was very sweet.
So there are two souls in him then? I mean, just trying to understand.
I'm also trying to I don't know, man. I didn't believe in reincarnation. If it's real, right?
How does he change the personality from the Suresh character
So
to this,
in
more real
in
T2 character?
other cases that Ian Stevenson has documented, by the age of 8, the memories and the personality of the previous life dissipate. And Cyrus, take this all with a grain of salt because I don't believe in this. So now it's really, I've had this ontological shift in my beliefs as to if reincarnation is real, big if, what does that mean for soul, consciousness?
Scary, Baba.
बहुत, हाँ, बड़ा.
Yeah, Purani Dushman. I mean, God, man, the list will not
Bro,
end.
that's the one thing he said. He wasn't prescriptive in any way. Bilkul, he wasn't giving gyan on that podcast. He was pithy in his sort of remarks. The one thing jate he said on tape is, अच्छे कर्म करो, बस कर्म है आपके, पता नहीं अगली ज़िंदगी में आपको कौन आपको मिलेगा. So that was all he said, and it really, I felt it was a little haunting because I know where he's coming from when he said do good deeds. I know I could tell he regrets being a smuggler in his previous life and the whatever sort of the goonish things he must have done. And he's trying to now repay that by being of service to students and being in Ayurveda and yoga and whatnot. So yeah.
Jen, just open the door. I've locked Suresh in the bathroom. I don't want this karma journey of mine to go in the wrong direction. So please release him. And also the marketing department. I just got angry with them, yeah. Sorry. I accept this. Most religions talk about some sort of karmic theory. So yeah.
Yeah, most pagan.
Good deeds.
Yeah.
I mean, which kind of religions like bad deeds?
But Abrahamic religions don't believe in reincarnation. And
No, they don't.
Yeah, so is
But then
T2
Jesus gets reincarnated in a sense, right? So
No, bro.
he comes back, right?
That's not
He comes back as
reincarnation.
himself.
Hence not
But
reincarnation.
but you can come back from the dead. Whether you come back as somebody else, it's like a
That's blasphemous.
twist in the tail.
Yeah.
See, we Indians want that twist.
Yeah. See, Abrahamic religions came up as opposing pagan religions of the time. So some of these things are diametrically opposite just because they were opposing it. Yeah.
There's a very fascinating subject. I'm very scared with all this, to be honest. I got scared while you were telling me this story.
Yes.
You'll notice my voice went down and I became really soft like a 12-year-old
Yeah, you
girl.
weren't as funny.
Forget funny. I was scared. I was worried like it's something, or your soul will leap out of your body and attack me. Yeah. Say, "Main Suresh Radio hu," and all, you start slapping me. I wasn't the guy there.
Do you have any past life memories? Do you have any ever felt?
No, but I do have dreams where I shoot bikers who come up one way. The guys come up a one way and I just have these twin guns like, I'm like Billy the Kid. And I'm like, hey, one way, banchot. Or tere life ki one way. Bang! What do you think? Too much?
No.
I'll be on your
You
podcast.
could have been a county sheriff, I think, in one of your
Happy
Western
come.
bro.
Also, now that we're shooting people, the VIPs with the red light.
Oh.
Don't you ever feel like...
I'll say it 4 years
Yeah.
later.
Wait for...
we
By
have-
23, you're a juvenile practically. They can't do anything. There's so many other cases. So, do we have time? Can we do one more quickly before we do the AMAs? This is going to be hard to top up because I think everybody in the room got a little scared. Is it fair to say scared? A little spooked, right? What is it with us that no matter how well educated, University of Michigan or whatever, you are not 100% against what is supernatural or cannot be explained? It's still there in our heads.
But why does education have to? I think this is the
No,
problem.
the scientific side to your brain tells you that how can this be possible? Show me how.
Yeah, so
The
that's
show me
where
how
I
is
would
not
say,
clear, no?
that's where I would say, a scientific mind without knowing the philosophy of science is the sort of a tragedy of our times, where you see some of the greatest philosophers of science, right? If you see Popper and you read about them, you'll see how they don't fucking put scientific method at the pedestal. They know. So, okay, what is
Baba Ramdev you're talking about?
No. Baba Ramdev is a contemporary.
Fair
No,
back.
So the field of knowledge, epistemology, scientific method is one way of accumulating knowledge and verifying knowledge, but it's not the only way. And there are the scientific method has its own
What is it?
limitations.
Give me another way.
Give you other way.
A non-tangible way of trying to explain things. Like if you give me
Not
tangible
explain, but yeah, sure.
data and reasons and
Data and reason is one facet. Experiences, right? You can't quantify all experiences. And so when people sort of have awakenings via meditation or via substances, right? There is no way to explain those in a scientific manner. There is no, for example, consciousness is very difficult to explain scientifically. We haven't been able to explain that scientifically yet. To deify the scientific method and treat it as the end-all, be-all method of knowledge accumulation is a detriment to yourself. And so...
But you're lecturing me now.
Two ones. Yeah.
Go on.
And so, I think to think that being
It's almost
educated
like
and
a
supernatural...
romantic side to you, where you're looking and saying the science is not the be-all and end-all.
No, it's not.
And leave it open.
And I'm a
because-
science kid.
Yeah, fair.
I love science.
No, fair. But no, you said, what about you? Did you ever feel that you could have been something in your past life?
Yeah, dude, I've always...
But is there like a...
But I never believed. I thought it was just a kid having thoughts. Like, for
Now my
myself.
worry is because you're fascinated by crime, you're really into the subject. Is it possible there's some, in the background, avatars, 10 souls before, there's some criminal act by you or against you?
हो सकता है.
Ho sakta hai. Let me think. What about the sandalwood smuggler of Karnataka, Veerappan?
What if I was Thug Behram?
931?
Mad, dude.
Bro, I don't know whether I should arrest you or be proud. That guy's just...
Gang.
Huh. What? We're 18th century, 19th century. What is
18.
it? 18th.
18.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And how does he get eliminated? Oh.
So, dude, the Thuggies are very fascinating. That's where the word thug comes from,
Yeah.
and it's all cool.
I think a Hindi film, they made one as well recently.
Acha.
On-
Thugs of Hindustan,
Yeah,
Amir Khan and all.
correct.
Yeah.
Wasn't that somewhat vaguely...
I have not seen that movie, yeah. I have not seen Sholay, bro. I wouldn't have seen Thugs of Hindustan.
not in the same category. Sholay is...
I'm not going to put it.
Yeah.
Fair. Accepted. But the point is, Thuggies were sort of... They were painted as criminals by the colonial forces, but they were a very eclectic group of sort of Muslim and Hindu, the Kali worshippers that used to sort of viewed as Robin Hood if you go into the history of it. And when the British sort of tried to infiltrate their spaces, they of course killed the British in hordes. British tourists and travelers.
So they brought Hindus and Muslims together, but they killed white people. So
And they killed many of the... Yeah.
humanity is defeated again. I mean, from that perspective, yeah.
That is one side of how the Thuggies were
So
viewed.
they're killing people for gain, which they give back to the poor.
Sometimes they did.
Oh.
Other times it was just for them. And they used to kill peasants and
But
villagers
931
also.
is indiscriminate killing, isn't it?
It's indiscriminate, exactly. So it's not... That's what I'm saying. There are two sides of it. There is the sort of very Indian, I'm a proud Indian view in history that can view them as anti-colonial forces. But the colonizers, they came up with the anti-dacoity, the anti-thuggy act, which eventually is part of our penal code even till date, was made purely for the thuggies. And it was like if there are any claims against you being a thuggy, then you can immediately be arrested and put in prison without substantiation.
Wow. It's like what happens to you when the ED comes to your door today, just to give perspective to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
931 bank fraud.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Or giving money to various...
Yeah. 4 more years, bro.
4 minutes.
4 more years.
Keep quiet. Shh, don't say more. All right, we have to do the AMAs. Is there any other, sorry, quickly, can you do anything in 2 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't have to come. I could just put my foot in my mouth and one on my own, right? Really. Yeah. A short one. Any female criminal? Since you have a 75% female base.
Female.
Famous Indian female criminal? I mean...
I'm trying to think Cyanide Malika, but that's done. What, bro? Female criminals, huh?
We had that... did you all cover the guy, the stone killer in Mumbai?
No, we haven't covered him yet.
Yeah.
It's not a
But that was in
female
my
killer.
lifetime, so I remember that very clearly.
Uh-huh.
And that was scary. People in Marine Drive were very worried about this guy who would kill you with a stone, literally.
Yeah. Like poor people, he was
Raman
smashing
Raghav, I
their
think.
heads.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
People who were sleeping on the pavement, basically.
Yeah, so why were you worried?
Because I was a struggling actor then. You know our stories. From pavement to, well, in my case, pavement to bench only. It didn't really go far.
It's podcast,
This is pavement was better. Made more money. All right. Let's take a look at the AMAs. If something hits you, just tell me immediately and we'll segue into that. What's the name of the it's crime podcast?
Desi crime.
Desi crime podcast.
Yeah.
Nice name. That's a crime, coughing in the middle after 27 years of experience. This young man has come from Michigan to present his case here. I wonder what his Atma was before.
Your birthmarks? Yeah, so
we
first
just-
life for you.
So one sec. So if you have birthmarks,
There's no explanation for birthmarks yet. So yeah, that's what
what is the
Ian
lady's name
Stevenson
again?
theory. Antonia Mills was the
yeah.
researcher, but Ian Stevenson is the guy that pioneered it.
And says that this is one of the so-called tangible pieces of evidence that if you have a birthmark, guys, you're listening.
No, but dude, in all the cases he covered of reported reincarnation, the birthmark matched the modus of death of the person. There's so many other. There was this. I was
I have
narrating
white
this.
spots on my hands from birth and all that.
Can I know self
I
harm?
might have been killed by powder.
Powder.
Don't laugh. Death is not funny, yaar. You know, nice little powder, one of those, or Baby Johnson powder or whatever.
Killed by that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Look, I can't tell you everything. I just say,
Coke overdose.
no, it's too expensive. I'm very middle class here.
No, maybe in your
I
previous
said no
life
to
you
drugs
wasn't.
only because of the cost to company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not on no moral principle there. Are you into all this?
What?
Young Americanized Indian and all that?
What?
All these things you mentioned, these
What?
nefarious substances.
Huh?
The illegal stuff.
What?
That.
What are you talking
What is not Pepsi?
No, I don't do those ones.
That's what he says. Maybe the other avatar. We have to find out. We'll check his birthmarks. So just last thing on that. So if you have birthmarks which are odd or
No, it's not a sufficient condition. It's almost necessary.
No, but come on, having it at the back of your head and on the temple and all that is
No,
rare.
I know, but it should match the memory you have of what happened. But you can sort of ask yourself, is my birthmark related in any way? Fair. It's a fair question. But dude, he has documented so many cases where I showed
Get
one
him
to
on your
Aishwarya.
show, no?
Huh?
Can't you get him on your show?
Ian Stevenson is dead.
But then you
Afterlife,
can.
hey!
Then that would be the best episode ever. And now from the afterlife, ab pesh karte hain Ian Stevenson. And he goes, yeah.
That'd be dope, man.
It's like a talk show. Wow,
Yeah,
what
that'd be
fun.
dope. Another case of an Indian man that he had that was shot dead, that was born, said, I was shot dead, blah, blah, blah. He had birthmarks on his chest, white splatter birthmarks. The person he said who he was died of a close-range shotgun wound to the chest. The autopsy में कहाँ bullet गया था matches exactly his birthmarks.
But same thing as the Suresh character? The thing about knowing
Similar-
knowledge about the
same
other,
knowledge
other
to the T. Remember the name and everything. Yeah.
Hard. So if you're one of those people, please check in with Aryaan and he'll like to know your story. If there's anybody out there, it's a fair thing
Sure,
to ask.
yeah, of course, why not?
There might be more. There has to be more, right? If it's true. God, you scared me now. And I have to sleep alone tonight. My wife's in Norway. I have Peter, my Saluki, who's scared of rain and thunder. So we're both scared. And I have Mary, who pees. She's got
I think you can
incontinence.
watch the Kohistan episode and feel like miss your wife.
Your
Like,
show doesn't put people to sleep. Mine does.
Buddy.
I'm listening to my show.
Buddy,
Your show is scary.
You don't understand my listeners. They listen to us to go to sleep. Aishwarya listens to
This
crime
is not
podcasts to
you're
sleep.
talking nonsense, Aryaan.
Aishwarya listens to crime
if I
podcasts
can-
to sleep.
if I'm interested in your show, then I will not sleep for a long time after
People
that.
sleep to us, bro.
How will they sleep?
I don't know,
There's a guy
Cyrus.
called Samir Radio walking around the streets of Mumbai. Somebody else from 200 years ago. I'm scared now.
But they managed to sleep. Aishwarya listens to crime junkies to sleep. That's her bedtime.
Unless Aishwarya is Suresh Radio.
Suresh is Suresh Radio.
I mean, there
She
might
is a
be-
walkie
Can you
dog.
change gender? Of course you
Of
can,
course you
right?
can.
Well, why can't
No,
you?
I thought I was a woman. The vision I always
So did
had.
I when you entered. Aryana. अब तो sense में आ गया ना. Aryana makes sense. Is Aryaan an Indian name?
No, but now it is.
Yeah,
Sobo a lot.
Now
of
everything is an
people-
Indian name. We just take it. Sonia, who cares? It's ours now. Tina, Tanya, they're all from somewhere else. We just took it. Anita. Well done, India. All right, let's go to this. Printed by Prithvi, our new producer, for 8-year-old with good eyes. So this will take half an hour. Hyper Bob says, can you share behind the scenes story of fact that your listeners might not know? Oh, behind the scenes about doing the podcast, I guess, not necessarily with a crime story.
That when we were audio only, we used to record from the most batshit crazy places. So once I remember I was hungover I was at my Italian friend's home, and so I was in Italy in the grandmom's house.
This guy's had quite a life for a Garib Desh ka beta.
Yeah. And podcast made money in US, man.
Michigan chala gaya, uske baad Italy, and then really, I'm not feeling any sort of empathy at all. Huh?
It was a full ride. But anyway, so an Aishwarya was recording from her car in Michigan because there was a party happening inside and it was too noisy. And so we used to because it was audio, people didn't realize that all you need are good quality mics and it feels like you're in a studio. And,
Which can kill the outside sound, basically.
Yeah.
The ambient sound.
Yeah, you can.
One day we should also get this.
An Italian grandmom's kitchen, huh?
Oh, nice. This lady was very old, is it? The one you were dating? 75% at 70. I love hot moms. Can you see that on camera? I don't know. Huh? Oof. I also, to be honest, but I'm 52 now, so I should be liking hot moms. No, gilfs, they call them. Coming soon, bro. You got to stay with your market. I know friends of mine, my age group, she's so hot. The girl is younger than your daughter. You got to stop doing that because you're going to embarrass yourself.
Oh, that's
You got to stay with your market. Now, you're young, you do what you want to, but once you cross 35, start looking around. That's what I'm saying.
Then?
Look at Abhay sir. He's 80. He goes to the geriatric ward of hospitals. They have 1 week to go. He reads poetry to them. Beautiful poetry. The ballad of Bolaram. Through the trees I spied a kyo. I said to myself, Bolaram bhi breo. Marathi poetry. Breo.
Yeah.
Maiti?
Agreed.
Okay. Tejas says, have you ever accidentally scared... We'll sort of answer this. Have you ever accidentally scared yourself while researching a particularly creepy case? All these, honestly, must have been little...
Yeah, I mean, so one of the other shows we do was Bhootbusters, where we spent a night at some of India's most haunted locations and trying to bust the bhoot, hence the show. And we spent nights at Bhangad and Kuldhara and found nothing, and we were like, fuck all. But one place that really scared me was the Exorcism temple in Rajasthan, the Balaji temple, where people there were said to be possessed and everybody was there to be exorcised. And so I attended my first real exorcism on the fringes of Rajasthan.
What do they do?
You see the women, it's again mostly women that are possessed.
They get beaten.
So back in the 70s, when it wasn't well documented, it was all in the open. The beating, hanging upside down. Many died in this process. So by beating the person,
But you could use it as a bahana to, your wife, you don't like her or whatever. You're like, she's possessed. Boys, come here. Chappal lana. I'm just saying, don't ever do that.
No. That is true.
Yeah.
What were the witch hunt, the witch trials and all? This was a way. Anyway,
use it as a rule to kill people you don't like.
It's very easy to abuse this provision in whatever particular culture you're in. But when we went, those things, as we found out late in the night, happen behind closed doors now. They still happen, but so that the media doesn't get it, it's behind closed doors. In fact, we were at a metal door while going through on the alleys at 9 in the night, and we could hear women shouting from inside. But it was a big bronze door and you couldn't go in. So we don't know what was happening inside. Point being, in the exorcism, it was women in a trance-like state, rolling and eyes rolled up, tongues out, and the pandit sort of leading them through that, trying to get the ghost out. And I'm sitting there with Aishwarya.
Does it work?
You know what research shows it works? Ames did a research on this in the 80s. You know what I think it is? I think it is hypnotic therapy works. And so if you're put in a trance-like state with the allure of God, right? Because if you truly believe in God, you can be put in a trance-like state if you're in a place that is very holy.
You got to accept.
Exactly. If you accept it, then it's easy to be put in a trance-like state then. Like if I look into Osho's eyes, I'll be in a trance-like state because I believe, whatever your particular proclivity is towards, you'll be put in a trance-like state. So once you're in that state and you're told evil out, you're in a very suggestive state. Hypnotic therapy uses that literally So when they did the research on Balaji, it did show that it worked. Now, I don't think it works because you have ghosts in you. I think you have certain mental ailments
That's one way of looking at it. But
that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I think mental.
See, now your scientific mind is taken over in this case.
It's again this binary thinking of scientific or.
But it looks like that. Here
No,
you're
it is
telling me it's
both
mental
si-
issues for sure. You're not
It's
giving it the
both
grey
si-
area that you gave Suresh Radio.
I'm saying I think it is one over the other. I'm not saying I know for a fact.
Okay. So your gut feeling is it's more likely this in this
Yeah,
case.
gut and logical feeling is that it's that, but I can't discount.
God, science is a waste of time. After all that, we still can't make up our minds. Is there God? Is there no God? How is the earth formed? What is this Big Bang Theory? Why do I have hair under my armpits? There's so many questions that we don't answer.
Yeah.
By the way, I do. It's the only place I'm hairy. And that only in my left armpit. Now, is this a social crime?
No,
Question.
maybe you could do. Yeah, it's like in your previous life, your arm was chopped off or something like that. And-
Jeez, why?
Yeah. saying.
For lovemaking, I need my arm.
You don't have armpit hair.
I
you
don't have a
need
girl.
You don't have a gilf.
Well, that's the medication involved, and it's not easy. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in a couple more. This young boy is making fun of me. Ayush says, have you ever had a moment when you were so engrossed in a case that you started suspecting your own friends or family of being secret masterminds? A lot of the people who write in are like me.
Yeah.
It's completely.
That'd be funny.
That-
No, I've never. That's never happened.
No?
No.
But do you ever suspect people, like, because you see something and then in your everyday life you're able to tell that this guy's got criminal tendencies or something?
Just Uber guys in Delhi, bro.
Used to be rickshaws. They've just changed the technology.
And I just make a fake phone call and I start talking about some lawyer thing. Or so. I'm like, parso court mein appearance, we'll handle it. And I just fake hanging it up so that the Uber driver knows that I'm the shit.
These are the real crimes that nobody talks about. How the taxi drivers, Uber drivers, rickshaw drivers have taken India for a ride. Literally.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Nobody understands. It becomes a rich versus poor divide thing all the time. But there's been some painful memories. Sheena. Stop it. That's not, guys. Not like you said, it's going to stay there. But this is, oh God, man. Oh man, really, guys, come on. If you could interview any criminal from history, nice question, but you had to do it over a casual game of Monopoly, who would you choose and why? But whether the Monopoly thing holds or not, who would you interview?
If I could interview any criminal, and I'm guaranteed safety.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, they're shackled if you like.
Who's that? The guy from The Serpent. How can I forget the name? You guys know. Charles Sobraj. Sobraj. I mean, not history. He's alive.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that.
He was
counts.
released from Nepal.
Yeah, he
prison
was taking
recently.
photos in front of London
Bikini.
Bridge and all.
Oh, okay. Is he known as Bikini Killer, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
He used to kill people.
Yeah.
No,
Still
I mean,
alive.
not wearing
Anybody
them.
else?
Yeah, anybody dead?
These American psychopaths or whatever you want to call them.
मुझे नहीं interest. I don't consume this. I don't know most of their stories. I don't know about them.
Yeah.
I think one would be this Dhananjoy.
Who got hung.
Who got hung.
Yeah.
Who was possibly innocent.
Innocent, yeah.
I would like to know.
This is a Cal story, right?
The?
Calcutta-based story?
Calcutta story, yeah.
See, I know a little bit here and there. Yeah. But that's a very interesting thing, because what about those who were executed wrongly? You talk about Suresh being shot, whatever, but he didn't deserve it, I'm sure. But you said he was a bit haughty or something. He was like...
And he was a smuggler.
Yeah, he was a smuggler, and his personality was not the nicest guy, from what you said.
Not a nice guy, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But what about people perfectly innocent who've been executed because...
Bro, and
bad...
India mein executions are anyway so rare, right?
Now.
No, post-independence also, India was
Really?
never abusing the provision of capital
Rarest of the
punishment.
rare cases.
Rarest of the rare, and it's true.
Like
we
my
are,
steak, not allowed in India. Huh.
good.
I'm not saying anything.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Go on. Please stay on track, bro. One of us has to be.
Imagine Dhananjoy being given
No,
the
no,
punishment
no.
by the judge,
Yeah.
and like him think, if you, dude, it's crazy. You're okay.
No.
And in India, it's the rarest of the steak, and it was still handed off in this case where the facts weren't completely certain, where there was still this maybe it wasn't him, and so why was capital punishment awarded? And of course later evidence came out that it could have been the
Ex-wife,
victim's own
yeah.
mom and family, that it was an honor killing.
Yeah. Wow, that's just horrible.
Yeah.
But how can a judge pass that sentence? Shouldn't a judge
I
also
don't
think
know.
कि 100% guarantee मन में है कि this is
I don't know. I
like the
don't know.
Nirbhaya story? At least we know exactly.
Yeah,
You know, so that
And this is one example in US, pre-DNA technology. There were so many executions of black men specifically that with DNA it was like इसने नहीं कुछ किया. They were innocent in the hundreds, if not thousands.
famous boxer spent 20 odd years for rape he didn't do, and then he gets released. They made a film on it, with the Bob Dylan song.
Okay.
What is it called? What kind of hip culture guys are you? You guys should be like, here's the name, Hurricane. Check out the movie. I think is it Denzel? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, all these cases that happen all the time, it's just ridiculous. I think I should go out and become a lawyer for an NGO which helps people do with. I'm 1 year LLB, so I could.
1 year
basically- Yeah, 1 year LLB. You don't really need 2 and 3.
I'm 2-year biology.
2 year biology. उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
Drop out.
Why?
Went to New York.
That's not the typical story from a Desi boy in America.
I know.
You were doing biology and then you dropped out and went to New York to do what? Acting?
No, production. Our podcast got sort of kind of licensed to a startup there.
Okay, so you saw the money coming in from the podcast, hence. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I thought for a minute he was one of the loafer who just decided, boss, ये मेरे पसंद नहीं है, mummy daddy नहीं है यहाँ पे, मैं जाएगा. You know, I know guys, a couple of guys who've done that, and the parents are paying the tuition and thinking that the guy's still in college. He's done so well for himself, Elon Musk. Huh? All right. Cheers, man. It's been a great show. Want to just say, as we say, bye to everyone, where we can catch the true crime.
Yeah, you can find Desi
Desi
Crime on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, wherever you want.
And your Bhoot stories.
It's also on our YouTube channel and Bhootbusters.
Again, 2 of you again?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. It's great to do a podcast with someone who has an actual topic. After 1,500 episodes of no topics, nothing to talk about, we finally actually had a topic. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cheers.
My
All
pleasure,
the best.
man.
And we're looking forward to many, many stories. And please come again if you have any time on your hands. We'd love to hear your stories. I think we're going to get a lot of feedback on this. Because
I think you're going to get a lot of feedback on this.
Who is not fascinated about the unknown? Let's call it that.
I agree.
And the reality of the unknown, because you're not making things up, because there's a reality. As you said, consciousness is not being explored. I don't know, but it's damn scary, bro. If you can imagine that we could be other people and other people are us, and just no end to it. God, I wish I was at least a Miss India. Cheers. Aryaan.
My pleasure, man.
I